how difficult is to build basically a clothing brand in India, because they are like so Zara, H&M, now Zudio also picking up. So what are some of the things that can go wrong if somebody is planning to launch a clothing brand, and what are the challenges in this particular industry that people generally don't see? And I think size, the maximum orders you might be getting from M or L, or again it varies from region
That is
to
the surprising fact,
Yeah,
the first question that you asked.
Hi everyone, welcome to a new episode of Salaried Talks powered by Apna Jobs, which is India's leading job search and networking platform. If you're looking out for a job, then I'd suggest that you should go ahead and make your profile on Apna Jobs right away. Today's episode is very special because I have with me a women founder Shrijal, who along with her co-founder Zoheib are trying to build a women-centric brand in India called WomenLikeU. Stay till the end of the episode and you'll get to learn nuggets of wisdom which you'll not get anywhere else. Do subscribe to the channel for more such content. So hi Shrijal and Zoheib, welcome to Salary Talks powered by Apna Jobs. Our title partner is Apna, which is a leading job search and networking platform in India. So wanted to understand from you to how your career journey began from NIFT to starting up.
Ever since I could understand the meaning of ambition or could write an essay, it was always about being a fashion designer, and that's exactly what I did. Did 4 years of undergrad degree in fashion designing, did masters from NIFT in fashion management, and I did a lot of internships throughout my undergrad and masters, which was a good mix of doing sales in Mumbai Palladium, then trying my hands in visual merchandising, marketing, a lot of different things. I did my final internship with Vunik, got an offer letter there, and joined full time. So I was very fortunate enough to get a chance there to launch women's western wear under their private label. So that turned out to be a great experience for me because right from doing market research till the time of taking it live, I was involved in everything. Turned out to be an incredible and a pivotal experience for me. And yeah, after that I joined ShopUp. So ShopUp acquired Vunik. So I was working there as a senior buyer. And yeah, after NIFT and before Women Like You, it was all about experimenting and learning whatever that I could and trying my hands on different things. So yeah, that was pretty much my journey.
Cool. So for me, till about NIFT, I was pretty much really not very sure that what I have to do. But in NIFT, again, I had some idea that अच्छे से निकल के we have to do. I have to get into fashion, try and put things in perspective for myself. So I graduated back in 2008, NIFT Kolkata. Worked with a lot of brands post that. Worked with Next, Dorothy Perkins. I was working with a company called Impulse in India. Now that was they were one of the biggest buying houses that India has ever seen. Post that, I joined Alan Solly, Van Heusen, part of Madura, Aditya Birla's fashion wing. Post that, I did my post graduation from ISB, and that actually gave me the final perspective that this is where the career should go. I always had this thing that I'll do something of my own, but eventually, post ISB, I knew that there has to be a certain path to it. So that is when I tried my hands a little bit with business consulting because, again, before that, everything that I did was completely fashion. So wanted to see what is out there apart from fashion. And again, that was a very helpful 1 year in my life. Joined Vunik as VP for their private labels, launched 6 brands for them. Those brands did really well. In fact, Shrijal and I, we started working together there, where she had joined the private labels team. And then post that, the merger happened with ShopUp. Again, great opportunity. We were a 20 people team when the merger happened. And by the time we quit, ShopUp had become a 10,000 people team. So that was the kind of jump we had seen. There at ShopUp, I was handling 3 portfolios. I was taking care of infra, I was taking care of agro, and of course, fashion. All put together, 850 million ARR. And it had a 10,000 people team. Like I said, and out of that, I was handling these 3 portfolios were about 2,000 people all put together. So gave a lot of perspective, and that is when the real calling happened. That if we can build it for someone else, why not do it for us, and why not do it for a industry that you're passionate about? Solve a problem that you think exists and has been existing for a very long time, and use your expertise to help and solve for that. So yeah, that's been the journey, and that's when Woman Like You happened.
Can you double down on what is Women Like You and what is the problem that you both are trying to solve
Of
for?
course, would love to. So, like I was saying, always spent my working life with fashion, and it so happened that from day one of my career, which was with Impulse, I'd always been with women's wear. And my initial days of my work, I was handling tech there. And when I say tech, it's actual garment technology, the product that we wear. How will a t-shirt be made? What kind of shape it would be? What kind of a fit it would be? What fabric, etc.? Where will it be produced? What kind of machines will produce it? And when I was working for Impulse, I was essentially working for a lot of European high street fashion brands, and that is where we realized that garment tech is so important. Fit is very important. Size is very important. And eventually, again, throughout my career working with all these folks that I named, we had a lot of anecdotal evidences, speaking to people, speaking to consumers, and then finally, again, mixed with a lot of insights coming from friends, families, friends of friends. It came out very clearly that a there is a problem that in India there is no standard sizing. That was one big thing, because in India, if you see the entire women's wear or menswear per se, largely follows a UK, US, or a European sizing.
And that also varies brand to brand.
That also varies brand to brand.
Right.
That's by large by design. And having a standard sizing in India is fairly complex than any other country because of the sheer diversity we have here. So if you see a woman from, let's say, northeast versus compare her to a woman down south, both of them equally Indian but very different body types, different ethnicity altogether. And that is why this standard sizing thing, although a lot of folks are trying to do that, the government of India is also actively working on it with textile ministry. In fact, when I was back in NIFT, this was a project that was being undertaken. But it's still now it's not really solved. But again, that doesn't mean that here people should not have the perfect fit. They should not have the optimum functionality, or they should be compromising on the comfort. And that was the crux. That was the core consumer insight on which we built Woman Like You. Because again, Shrijal coming from a core design background, I coming from a core tech background, we always knew that there is this big problem statement. India is a large country, and the Indian women population is large, and that's definitely a white space there.
So my journey with Women Like You started out of a very, very personal problem. I have a lot of women in my family of all different shapes and sizes struggle to find a good fit. So if my mother goes to a Zara, she's very heavy on the bottom side, right? So she doesn't fit into the UK, US standard sizes. So that was a personal problem statement that I had, and that's how the journey started. So our approach towards the sizing is very different. We design everything as per the body types, right? So, like he mentioned, there's so much diversity in terms of body types in India. A northeastern girl versus a Punjabi girl, for that matter, right? The shape remains the same no matter which size they are. So that's the approach that we have taken to the
And
entire
is there any
problem.
specific category that you operate in?
So we started with vacation wear, and especially women's swimwear is where we started. Now, because again, when we started, like we were describing the problem statement, the second step was to find a solution. That is where the segments of shapes came in. That if we can't standardize size, we can at least standardize shapes. So then the third part was, okay, now what do we do? Do we go out there and solve for everything? That would have been the best, but fortunately or unfortunately, we did not have that kind of bandwidth in terms of resources, money, etc. So we had to choose our battles, right? So we thought, let's pick out a category where our chances of winning is most. And again, Shrijal will of course tell it was also coming from a very personal problem statement that she was having. But we thought, okay, women's wear, vacation wear, and especially swimwear is that category. Why? Because there was no pole position holder there. There was no brand which was leading for fashion swimwear in India. Nobody was definitely doing the garment tech around it. And swimwears or vacation wear is a very vulnerable category.
And how big is the market of this category?
I'll give you a guesstimate for that, and why we also said, okay, that was an aha moment for us. So we said, okay, let's go out and see the vulnerability part that I was talking about. That nothing can go wrong. For innerwears, the sheer number of eyeballs that fall on an innerwear that somebody is wearing is very limited. Right. But you can't wear something which has chances of going wrong in a public pool or a swim or maybe a beach. So that is why it's a complex category. So we thought, okay, but how big is the market? That was, of course, the question, because we're going to put down our papers, leave our comfortable jobs, and move into this. So we thought, okay, let's go to the market, talk to people, and understand. So we spoke to women, and we realized that uh, the TG that we are going after, that's urban Indian women between the ages of 22 to 42, they at least go on vacation once a year. And these are very conservative numbers that I'm throwing. Once a year at least. And for this one vacation, they are comfortable spending rupees 5,000 to buy fashion products before going to the vacation. And we figured out that there are about 8 crore such women. Again, a very conservative number. So 8 crore into 5,000, and again, a conservative number gives us a 40,000 crore market. And that was the aha moment for us, that okay, 40,000 crore market is roughly a $5 billion market. And then there's no brand positioned there. There's nobody solving for that. And the chances of winning for us is
Yeah, I mean, I was taking a vacation to Goa, struggled so much to find a swimsuit. Therefore, the category came into my mind, right? And I mean, when we did this research, the number turned out to be great, and there were no people, I mean, no brands in the market already in India, right? India-China trade war happened. Shein was out of the picture, so it was the most ideal time for us to get into the category. And why swimwear also? Because we were building our brand around the fits, right? If you get swimwear fit right, then it's very easy for you to diversify into other categories. Because if a customer trusts you with swimwear, you're good to go.
Got it. And how difficult is to build basically a clothing brand in India, because they are like so Zara, H&M, now Zudio also picking up, and they are very big on marketing. So how you remain frugal, or how you plan to build it maybe going forward? Yeah.
so again, it is not easy for sure, but couple of things that you have to be very focused towards, which in my opinion you have to be in anything that you do, is a, what problem you're solving, which is the product. In our case, it is a piece of clothing. Now we defined the problem. We were very sure that this is the problem that we are going to solve. Yes, the market size supports that. Yes, our skills actually give us the chance to be able to solve for that. And that was one thing we were very clear about. Second thing, you have to be very clear about which is the TG you're going after. For example, you named a brand called Zudio. I wouldn't say a Zudio TG and our TG is the same. She named a brand called Sheen, or there is somebody called Urbanic. Now, we don't go after the same TG, first of all. We are very specific. We know that, okay, this is my customer because this customer has this pain point and is ready to pay for that pain point. If they get a solution, they're happy to pay X amount. So, fashion largely is a value based market, unlike a commodity, let's say something that we eat. So there people think of it in terms of cost. To make this, you would have spent X amount of money, I will pay Y. Fashion is not like that. Fashion is a purely value based market. So everything, a t-shirt that me and you are wearing, it's a black t-shirt. Now we might have a different perception of value on it. And that is where you have to have that clarity of the problem you're solving, aka the product, and B, the person whom you're solving it for. That is the market, the TG. So as long as you're focused on that and you're being honest towards that and solving it with all honesty, at least putting in your 100%, you have half the battle won. The remaining half is to tell people that you're doing this. That is where marketing comes into picture, and that is a whole, I think, a whole universe of its own. How to do the right communication, how to reach out to the right people. But yeah, that's the longer and the shorter answer for that, as per me, is
Also, I mean, the kind of content that we try to market is also slightly educational. So that is somewhere we try to make a difference as well.
So do you feel that going to marketplaces and putting your product out there will basically move you away from your target audience, because then you are open to everybody who is out there? So how does role a marketplace basically plays if somebody is trying to build a niche brand?
I think when you start out as a new brand, it really helps you in trust building, because I remember in the initial days of starting Women Like You, everybody before doing the transaction were very hesitant, right? Is it a legit brand or not? So I mean, trust building plays a crucial role. And of course, at a very low cost, you reach out to such a wide audience. So I think it's a great idea to try and test your product market fit on marketplaces.
there are of course pros and cons like she mentioned, but the major two verticals of going to a marketplace is, a, you already have a set of audience there. Your TG that I was talking about, towards which you have to be honest, they are already there. They are there. Since you're talking about marketplaces, they're probably there because they're looking, that the intent is there, rather than like just trying to get to someone. You get to someone who's there with an intention to buy, so that works great. B, of course, it helps build a lot of trust, because any new brand, and there are a lot of, I have been cheated online. I've paid to someone and the product never came. So that problem is there. That gets mitigated to a large extent. So while we cannot directly reach to folks on marketplaces, where vis-a-vis if someone is buying from us directly on our website, we of course do a styling service with them. We make sure that what they're ordering is the right size, right product as per their preference. That part is missing there. But then again, we have to reach a standardized situation. That is the path we are on. So we want to reach to a situation where WLU sizings work so well. Like for example, somebody wears a Levi's and a Levi's 501 works. That person knows that a Levi's 501 works for me. We want to be at a situation like that. So once we are there, Then of course marketplace, MBOs is nothing but a new sales channel and an added sales channel. That's all.
I think on the place piece also, I'd like to double down what kind of margins basically these marketplaces take from you if they are giving you this distribution base.
Varies. I mean, it varies not only from marketplace to marketplace, it also varies from what kind of terms you have cracked with them. I don't think there is any marketplace which says this is it. There's no negotiation. It's all negotiable, and definitely they are cognizant to the fact that you also have to grow. A new brand has a certain bandwidth to that they can share. So all that is there. It's definitely very approachable for any new brand to start with. So at least with us, whatever marketplaces we are there on, things have been, I mean, folks have been very understanding, and they have been very helpful also. And this margin part has never been an issue. So of course there are different commissions for different folks, which will not be right to reveal. But yeah, but like I said, very understanding, very doable, very approachable.
If somebody is planning to launch a clothing brand in India, I think that is a very tedious job because to give you some context, I also launched my brand in 2018-19. I was able to get zero sales, so it never picked up. So what are some of the things that can go wrong if somebody is planning to launch a clothing brand, and what are the challenges in this particular industry that people generally don't see because they just see the end state, which is brand blowing up and then maybe getting eyeballs.
I think any new brand that is coming even today is trying to make difference in some way or the other, be it their designing, right? Not that the t-shirts are not available, but probably if I'm selling a very nice t-shirt in terms of design, which is liked by a lot of people, that's a problem statement that you're trying to solve, that I don't find such t-shirts in the market, right? As long as you're trying to make a difference, I think there are more chances of winning rather than just selling any product that's available everywhere.
Again, if you ask me what can go wrong, a lot of things can go wrong. The first step can go wrong. Maybe the product that you want to launch is very close to your heart. It's your problem statement. It might not be somebody else's problem statement. So when I was younger, when so we thought t-shirts is a great market,
Right.
and we thought, oh, graphic t-shirts with some very cool slogan would really do well. Many young folks think that. But again, probably I was right. But at that point of time, I did not have the supply chain bandwidth. I did not know. I had all the slogans in mind. I knew how the end product would look, but probably I did not know where to get the right fabric from, who's the right manufacturer, what should be the pricing like. Should it be $200? Should it be $2,000?
Right.
Because all those things can go wrong. I mean, to something to not do well, only one thing has to go wrong. Something to do well, everything has to go right. So right from your product selection to your TG selection to your actual product manufacturing to your distribution to your marketing communication to the softer marketing and the softer communication that we put out there, everything has to be on point. And in this entire thing, well, to for the brand to function as a well-oiled machinery, you have to have the right team.
Right.
And also the right pricing, right?
Right pricing, of course, is
Yeah.
important,
Shrijal,
but
can you double down on that also? How do you decide the pricing for a product? Because same black T-shirt I think can be for 1,000, can be for 6,000 if you post a Lacoste logo out
even
here.
let's say if you don't post any logo there, then also it can be a 6,000, and there is in the market
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
6,000 rupee black t-shirt and a $500 black t-shirt
Yeah.
also.
So it's the positioning that you take by the end of the day, right? I mean, let's say Sheen can sell a 200 rupee t-shirt and the same t-shirt can be sold at a 4,000 rupee price point also based. It's just all on the
Value, what is
positioning.
perceived.
Yeah.
That is one
Yeah.
thing
And
for sure.
it's also the different TG that both the brands cater to, right? It's for a 4,000 rupee t-shirt, it's more of a value based pricing that you feel associated with a premium brand, that I'm wearing a 4,000 rupee t-shirt feels good, right? But
Right.
somebody who's buying a 200 rupee t-shirt is a utility based pricing, right?
Right.
So yeah.
But again, that is true. But if somebody is selling a $200 t-shirt and somebody else is selling the same t-shirt for 2,000, so that 1,800 rupee delta is not that this person is a winner, he's a very intelligent guy, he's selling the same thing for 2,000, that guy is not doing it well. That 1,800 delta comes at a cost. Probably the person who's selling it at 2,000 is doing something around it which is of value to the consumer. It could be he's making a celebrity wear it, because that is of value to that
Right.
end user. And this person is not making a celebrity wear it and selling it for 200, because for his consumer, that 200 rupee price tag is of more value.
Right.
So that's very, it's not that somebody is selling it at 2,000 is cheating the consumer. They're just adding value in a different way.
Got it. And when I talk about women like you, how you guys go about designing and maybe understanding trends, and what are the things that you are seeing in basically vacation wear market that is surprising to you also that this kind of trend is also picking up?
Yeah, so I mean, about designing, there's so many data points that we touch while going through the entire process. We do our market researches, and with time, we've also taken a very religious note of what the customer really wants, right? So we also in our designing process involve our customers. So we have a
Okay.
100 set of customers who've been the supporters since day zero with us, right? So we send our first sets of design to them. They tell us that, this looks good, this doesn't work. So we pick the winners, we drop the non-functioning ones, and that is how we go about designing the whole thing. And I think with time now, we know which colors, which print works for us, because of course with a lot of experience that has come to us. But yeah, initially it was a lot about doing market researches, right? Studying what's WGSN is telling as per the trend forecast, and then what the customer wants. So a mix of everything.
Got it. So what is the favorite color that women like to order?
So it's beige and red in swimsuit works very well. Black works very well for beginners.
Got it. And I think size, the maximum orders you might be getting from M or L, or again it varies from
That
region
is the
to.
surprising fact, the
Yeah, I
first
mean,
question that you asked.
yeah, so when I designed my first collection, I had this notion that there'll be more takers towards S&M.
Right.
But it took me by surprise that I had more customers coming from L to 2XL who wanted a swimsuit. And even today, as we speak, I have a good chunk of customers who fall between L to now 5XL, which is incredible.
Yeah, because general perception is
Yeah.
that
Yes,
these will be
exactly.
the
Yeah,
highest size.
yeah,
And
yeah.
not only for others. Again, one of those interesting trivias, if I may say so, what we realized with time that we were doing. So when we started, we thought that okay, let's speak to folks. Let's ask him what body type you are. So we actually did a proper. We followed a research methodology, and we did a questionnaire and whole set of interviews and all that before starting. So we were talking to people, asking them what body type you are, what body type you are. So 90% came in where we are an hourglass. But at the same place, we were also asking, okay, what's your bust size, what's your waist, what's your hip? So we figured out that most of the people don't know, which is okay. Figured out this is like the famous anecdote. If you go into a room full of people, you ask them what coffee you like, most people will end up saying strong. But if
Right.
you ask them to go and order for themselves, they'll probably order a latte full of cream, sugar, milk, everything.
Right.
So it's one of things like that. The people don't really know what body type they are. They have a notion that they're a certain body type, but it's very important, and that is why we do a lot of educational content. We have on our website something called a body type calculator. That's like a gamified version of how to do a personal styling, where folks have to just go in, put in their measurements, and the machine tells them, okay, you're so and so body type. So there we get a lot of engagement with folks. There we get a lot of data, which of course helps us fine tune our product further. So that was the surprising thing that came out, that people really need to know. That is
Got it.
one area we need to
And
work.
all of these are then again fed into designing that you do at Women
Yeah.
Like You.
So designing is a twofold thing. One is a visual design. So what Shrijal was saying, that we do a lot of permutation combinations. Of course run our designs through our customers and everything. That's more visual. Black red, the question that you asked. Then is the next part of designing is the design tech or the garment tech. That how will it fit on a certain someone? That is where all this comes in. What should the armhole shape be like? What should the neckline be like? What should the hip shapes be like? What size? What kind of if the fabric has a 20% spandex, which is also commercially known as lycra, which means it will be very stretchable. If it is of a certain weight, which means it will behave in a certain way. So all those things come into play. Then you decide the blueprint of the product, of how it will fit, and then finally we match the visual and the tech side of it, and that is when a product comes to life.
Got it. I think a lot of this is sounding a bit technical. So does NIFT also play a big role in giving you this knowledge that basically helps you build the foundation for launching a clothing brand?
So my graduation from NIFT is on garment technology.
Okay.
That course was erstwhile called GMT when it was a PG course. Then when I did it, was called AMIT, Apparel Manufacturing and IT. Then it was changed to apparel production. I don't know what it is called now, but that course is essentially this, or was essentially this. I'm not really updated right now,
Got it.
but yeah.
I think next section is our rapid fire section, which is again powered by Apna. So here we ask certain set of questions which are related to career and professional development. If somebody is planning to start their career in maybe fashion technology, what are certain set of skills that are non-negotiables and they should be having?
Yeah, I mean, see, non-negotiable skills, irrespective of fashion or anything, is your openness to learn and be perseverance. everything else can be learned, everything else can be taught and developed. So if you are open enough, and if you have the perseverance in you, these are the two things which, as per me, is non-negotiable. Everything else is a good to have.
Yeah, I think to excel in fashion, you need to have, attention to detail, should have passion for fashion. That's table stakes.
Got it. And if you hire candidates, what are certain set of skills that you look at specifically when it comes to say somebody who is willing to build their career in fashion industry?
For me, apart from these two things that I just mentioned, it is also to do a lot with the person's approach towards problem solving. For me, it is I always try to put a case in front of folks that I'm talking to, having a discussion, and with an intent of hiring. uh, Again, the answer doesn't have to be right. The approach has to be productive. The approach has to be towards building something. And the second thing that think is very important, and I definitely look at it, is the whole attitude. That person has to be very happy and should enjoy doing what the person is doing. If a person is still spending a lot of hours working, because see, eventually you'll have to,
Right.
but if you do it without being happy, then nobody is winning. You definitely are not winning. Even people around you are not winning.
Right.
And vis-a-vis someone who's spending the same number of hours, who's put in the same effort, but while at it, the person is enjoying. That makes all the difference for me.
Yeah, because like for a startup like ours, we are still a 5-member team, right, running the show. So everybody who comes into the picture have to feel like they're the co-member, right? I mean, right now the team that we have, they do as much work as we do. We're all the same there, right? I mean, everybody takes the same amount of work on their plate. So that is the kind of hustle that everybody does, all 5 of us. So that is what we expect. We want hustlers to come on board.
So who was your first hire?
So when we started, we had the first folk. It was part of our same team that we were working through Wonik and through ShopUp.
So we were all together in the same company and we quit at the same time and started this.
So he was our first hire and still with us.
So was it for marketing role or maybe for
That was just a core team member role.
So there are
Till
no,
date, there are no defined
yeah, there are
roles.
no defined roles. Even today, everybody actually does everything. So the person who's doing the marketing also makes customer calls, also helps us pack, also does a little bit of marketing. So it's a mix of everything.
got it. And like we were discussing about the marketing piece, so building a great brand also requires you to market it really well.
Absolutely.
So what are some of the initiatives on the marketing side that you are taking to at least make sure that brand recall is created?
Again, not a very simple and straight answer, multifold answers. Today, most of our monetary expenses, or the monetary side of things, financials, expenses, for as far as marketing is concerned, goes into performance marketing.
Okay.
Because that is more measurable, that is more direct, that gives you quick results. But we also spend a lot of time, lot of energy, lot of our bandwidth in creating the brand marketing bit, which is relatively non-measurable, relatively longer term results. But right now we're not spending anything. Whatever we are doing there, educational content that she was mentioning, we talk to folks. I mean, having a one-on-one conversation is also part of that. Going out and participating in any collaborative events wherever we can without putting in any money upfront. Then writing a lot of blogs. We do a lot of discussions online. We do everything possible as far as brand building goes, because that is very important, and especially for a brand in a situation where we are, the stage where we are, where we do not spend any uh, dollar value in terms of direct dollar value in terms of brand building. There we put in a lot of effort doing that. So that's my bit.
But one thing that really worked for us was we were the first brand in India who had women in their original form wearing swimsuits of all sizes, and that was something that so many women resonated with, right? We are running a community driven brand here where, like I told you, those 100 women have been there with us. So even today we get such emotional messages all the time that, I have same scars like this woman, and I feel so much confident after looking at this picture. We have we are flooded with such messages, and it's incredible to see so much change that happened with just one shoot that we did. Because, and be it any other brand, there's a lot of editing that happens. The PDP that we see on any website goes after like a lot of editing. We didn't edit any pictures, we just uploaded them the way they were clicked. There was no filter there, so I think that worked incredibly well for us.
Got it. Do you feel that celebrity presence also helps in maybe accelerating the growth of any brand, or without celebrity also you can build a decent brand?
Without celebrity also, both the answers, both the questions are yes. Without celebrity also you can build a brand, and it of course gives you a better reach. The first part of your question, that's, does celebrity, having a celebrity on board helps? Yes, of course. I mean, within, as a click or a snap of a finger, you get the distribution and the reach that it would take you years to build,
Right, right.
and that is definitely a good thing. But can we do it without celebrity? Of course, yes. There are so many examples who've done it without celebrities.
Got it. And what is your take on H&M and likes of Zara, because they are also becoming very aggressive in India? And what kind of trends do you see shifting in the Indian consumer mind because of these brands going more and more aggressive? Fast fashion is one thing that I can think of. What is your take on that?
From a consumer perspective, I think that Indian audience with their knowledge of fashion have evolved so much, right? People today understand what fast fashion is. They understand what trends are like after shopping from Zara. They know which color is there, which color is working, which prints are there. So I think as consumers, we have become more aware about fashion trends.
And having more players, especially bigger players like Zara and H&M, who are legacy brands,
Right.
having them becoming aggressive in India is a great thing, because, like I said earlier, fashion is a very value-based market, and not only in terms of value in monetary terms, but perceived value of the product. Because when you go to buy something, even a piece of black T-shirt, when we go to buy, we have an aspirational image in mind,
Right.
and when you wear that piece of clothing, that aspirational image has to match,
Right.
at least to a certain extent.
Right.
And that, I mean, they're having a large player trying to, you know, bring in more aspirations into the consumer is always a good thing, because there'll never be a situation that one or two brands are going to solve for all. Forget the tech part of the things, forget the, because again, Zara, H&M, they use a different sizing, they manufacture, their core market is someone else. uh, that's all fine. I mean, in India, there are so many takers of Zara. Zara fits beautifully to so many Indian women. H&M fits beautifully to so many Indian women. There are so many takers. But I'm not getting into the garment tech side of it. Only from the fashion and the design and the visual side of it, there will always be room, and then people are more than open. Now they're more open than earlier to give chance to a new brand, to go and try a new brand. With all the online presence and everything, that reach for a newer brand has become easier,
Right.
relatively, as compared to earlier. So again, having an H&M doing an aggressive marketing in India, having a Zara doing an aggressive marketing in India is definitely a good thing, because it will create that room for having more and more aspirational imagery of themselves and consumers, where of course women like you will also play a role, and for that matter many smaller brands would. So that is how the growth is going to happen, in my opinion.
I think a lot of challenge that newer brands also face is of return. So do you
Yes.
also face similar challenge, and how you plan to solve for it?
So there, our business health is actually much better than the industry
Because you
averages.
go by body size, so
Yes,
that is
that is a big validation of what we're doing, because we started in July 2022.
right.
It's been almost 20 months now. In 4 months, it'll be 2 years. Since then, our returns, purely returns, are less than 2%.
And what's the industry average? If there is
Return plus RTO in industry, again, I have an old data, but it will definitely be north of 30-35%.
35%. So
Definitely.
basically,
So
three
when,
out of 10 orders generally
yeah,
return.
yeah, yeah. When we were working for an e-commerce brand, it was much higher. We were working for a marketplace called Voon. It was much higher then.
Yeah, so when we were planning our return policies, we had, I mean, all our past experiences with e-commerce came in really handy because we knew about this pattern, right? So our touch point with customer is a lot, which really helps us bring this number down because we take customers' measurements before dispatching the order. We know what body type they are, and even the customer knows why they're buying this piece of clothing. So that is the extent till which we are associated with the customers, and then only they receive the piece from us.
Got it. And your target customer are women who are very price sensitive. So, are you also seeing similar kind of trends that customer are being price sensitive, or
They are price sensitive, but not very price sensitive. What
okay,
I would say is that our customer is open to pay a price for value. So, for example, we do not have products or swimwears, especially, which is like a 500 rupee swimwears, which is available in market. We don't do that because I will not be able to make the product that I make at that cost, because of everything that we do.
quality goes into the product?
Quality, fabric quality, the kind of R&D that goes into the fine tuning with all the fits and the text that we were talking about, we won't be able to do that, and hence the TG part comes in. So again, our TG is price sensitive, yes. More than that, they are value sensitive. if they find value, if let's say we are telling them whether you're a pear shaped body, we help them first identify you're a pear shaped body. We manage their aspirational image that they have, and we tell them, okay, you have this image in your mind, you should go for this product this size. And when that translates, that is where we win, and that is the biggest validation that we have. And then again, coming to the returns and the RTO thing, ours is much less. Ours is below, let's say, 8%, and that is because of all this. Because we put in a lot of R&D for a product, then we do a lot of hand holding, like Sheel was mentioning, with our to our customers. We manage that aspirational imagery, we try to manage it well, and that is the reason our RTOs and returns are down, and that is the reason people are more than open to pay that price for value. So once they're convinced that okay, this product is of value, they're okay to pay.
Just adding on to the price thing, every piece of clothing that a woman is buying from Woman Like You will be very closer to their heart. So if anybody opens their wardrobe, they would know exactly why they have bought this piece from us, because from this brand their discovery of their own body type happened, right? And
Right.
then why they have bought that silhouette, they would know the reason for that. So it makes it very special for them. So they're more than happy to pay that price for it.
Got it. I think swimwear is one category where you guys are excelling. Apart from this, are there new categories also lined up that you're planning to launch maybe this year?
We have already launched, in fact, in end of December, Jan, we launched our dresses. I mean, we were doing experiments earlier, but we have full-fledged launched our dresses and codes in January.
So that also came from the customer insight. Whoever was
Dresses,
buying,
basically office going dresses that
no, no,
way.
no, no, no. It's in sync with vacation wear only, because whoever was buying swimwear from us kept on asking, do you have dresses? Do you have cord sets? I'm heading to so and so place. I want to buy this. So based on that feedback, we launched two more categories, which is dresses and cord sets and some essentials as well.
So how this discovery happens that this is the particular category that I need to, again, basis your customer discussion is when you opt to venture into a new category.
So we take our customer conversations very seriously. We maintain an Excel where we do an entry that these many people ask these many things today, because that helps us in so many ways in formulating our marketing strategies, to inculcating that in our designing bit also. So that helps maintaining that data point of what the customer really needs.
That's true, of course, that's one core thing. But the second thing, which again, which ultimately lies on to the like as the spine of our decisions, is a are we sticking true to the core value that we started this business for. So for example, if tomorrow somebody says that our customer says probably you should sell a phone, probably we will not, because we started with a certain value in our mind that this is a pain point that we're going to solve for. That the first and a non-negotiable question is that is the next product or the next category going to solve for that. Only if the answer is yes, we of course go ahead with it. So that is one thing. Second thing is, for example, when we did dresses also, of course, listening to the customer was most important. But the other thing that goes into, will we be able to, how is it going to help the unit economics or the overall business health per se? If that comes out to be uh, as a positive delta, that okay, my cost is going to go down or my margin is going to go up, then that's a no brainer then, because again, it's a easier decision to take. For example, essentials that Shrijal mentioned right now. So that is something we are still doing R&D with. We have launched very few SKUs, but we are day and night. Our day and night of our R&D goes into developing great innovations for women, because what we have realized over the past 20 months is that is again a very big pain point. Not because there are not options in the market, but again very similar. Not the options that are available in the market that clearly does not work for everyone in the best possible manner. Now I don't know if we'll be able to solve for it, but that is where we are going to take the next shot, because that's again a very technical product. We are launching technical innovations, something like say if a heavy busted woman, she has a problem that she needs a support from the sides as well. So we came up with something called a bra which has two layers of support, one at the back, one at the sides and the front. So things, again, those are all in a very nascent stage where R&D is going, but that is the kind of technical products we would want to come up with.
Got it. I think this brings me to my last question. What are some of the trends in women clothing wear that you two guys are seeing or anticipate that will happen in next 3 to 6 months or maybe in coming 1 to 2 years that audience should be aware of?
I think 90s fashion is coming back in trend. We see a lot of denims and oversized t-shirts and baggy pants. In,
Across all age groups?
yeah, why not? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we are going to go large on that, is what I see coming.
That's more for fashion side of thing, like you asked. But other thing which I feel in a generic manner in fashion, of course, change is the most permanent thing. The market is becoming faster, which means people earlier Zara's success story, what everybody knows is because they were the fastest at one point of time. Sheen is probably the fastest today. Now that thing has inculcated in the market. I mean, consumer wants to see change. They want to see freshness. So for any fashion brand, I would say in the coming times for sure, you have a very clear choice. Either you build a commoditized market. For example, if I'm selling t-shirts for men, I will sell only half sleeve or full sleeve t-shirts in 10 colors, and I would do that. Now
Only focus on that.
something like a Go Colors.
Right.
Great success story, great business to be in. Or you then focus, because there you're selling commodity in a way. Or if you want to get purely into fashion, you have to be fast, not only in terms of churning out designs, but in terms of your supply chain, in terms of your distribution, in terms of everything else, in terms of your pricing. You have to understand what prices are working, what is not. So speed is something that, of course, will be big for the coming times.
You think that quick commerce will have certain kind of impact on your customer segment as well? They will want maybe things delivered within a day or a two. That thing is going to be
I think
impact.
that's going to happen in fashion also for sure. I mean, people would want delivery of, let's say, a t-shirt or a shirt in couple of minutes. So I think that is also going to happen very, very soon.
Yeah, because we have something called express shipping and overnight shipping. So a lot of takers for that. I mean, and that's a paid service. So if you buy something from us, a normal delivery which is free would take, let's say, 4 days to reach you. And express would take 2 days. Overnight, like the name suggests, will reach you the next day. Too many people opt for that. So
Yeah, and
speed, like
not
I
that
said,
they need it urgently. They just want the product to
Yeah.
be with them, like
So that they can
quickly.
try and test it
Correct.
out.
Yeah.
instant gratification is definitely a thing.
Correct,
Quick
yeah.
commerce can definitely be big. But yeah, I mean, we still have to see that.
Yeah, but I think that'll be great to witness, right? I mean, getting a t-shirt delivered in couple of minutes to you.
Yeah, I think Zepto already has it, but they are very pure vanilla, plain white and black.
That was
t-shirts.
during Holi they launched. So
Yeah, correct.
Right. I think there's an exciting business that you both are building and you are solving for a real problem. So full power to you both, and
Thank
thank you
you.
for joining me for this podcast.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
In this episode, we discussed a couple of things which are relevant for you if you are trying to build a women-centric brand in India. We discussed everything related to launching a clothing brand. And if you're looking out for jobs which are related to, say, fashion designing or textile industry, then you should definitely explore Apna Jobs because it has multiple such job openings. You need to make your profile on their platform and you need to put in right relevant keywords so that their AI tool can match you up with the relevant job openings and you can go ahead and apply them so that your chances of getting a shortlist increases manifold. Do subscribe to the channel for more such content and do explore Apna Jobs if you are looking out for your next job.